Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon in the east of Europe. Welcome to today's session. Hopefully, everybody got enough time to call in. If you do not know how to call in, please search in the comment box of your WebEx area and see how to dial in and with which participant code. So, again, welcome to today's WebEx webinar. My name is Sjors Melskens. I'm a financial solution specialist at SAP. And today we are going to talk about one of the most mature financial solutions in our product portfolio. And as you might already figured out, some of these logos over here, well, they represent all kind of companies in all kind of different industries and markets which already operate with BPC itself. Well, and I wanted to show them first of all because I'm a visual guy and I could have a title over here, but that doesn't interest me. So I'm quite sure if these companies doesn't impress you and doesn't grab your attention, well, I'm not sure what will. So today the webinar will be approximately 30 minutes. I will shortly introduce the product and the situation we are dealing with in the demonstration. Furthermore, we approximately spend 20 minutes to do the actual demonstration itself. And hopefully by the end, we still have time to answer your questions. If you have any question, please make a comment in the WebEx environment itself in the chat, because all participants are muted, so they cannot say anything during the presentation itself. So if everything is clear to you, I would like to start with some kind of a personal story, because I know that the financial subject is not always the most easy part to talk about, the most fun part to talk about, but I would like to show you why it interests me. And my interest, for instance, is that I really like to watch ice hockey. Even when I was 10, 15 years younger, I always liked watching it on American broadcast. And this is because, not because I understand the rules or I play ice hockey myself. I'm quite terrible at ice skating only, so it's quite difficult enough. But what they showed me on the American television was already a lot of statistics. And what I liked about these statistics, that they could actually plan, they could calculate which forward players or which defenders were the best in which quarter of the game. So the manager, the coach, could already use a lot of information to actually predict what will happen, which defenders he should spare for the end of the game, and a lot of information. So I think it's quite linked to the subject we are talking today about business objects planning and consolidation. So first of all, I would like to quickly show you a couple of numbers over here. And these numbers are actually related to business objects planning and consolidation itself. And what I would like to do, I would like to challenge you and not write the numbers down, but I would like you to try to remember these numbers. So by the end of the presentation, I will quickly explain why they are related to the subject we are talking about today. So keep that in mind and let's continue to the next subject. So business objects planning and consolidation itself. It's a financial solution. It's quite mature. As I said already, there's a lot of references, but what is it actually capable of? Well, you can divide it in 4 different areas, the capabilities. And the first area is the planning part. And when we talk about the planning part, we talk about, for instance, sales planning, headcount planning, budgeting, but also, for instance, more important ones like cash flow planning, things like that. The second area contains a forecasting, and it can actually do rolling forecast but also continuous planning. The third part are the reporting tools within the solution itself, so more on a higher level, on the C level. It can do ad hoc reporting you can make with it. I will show you during the demonstration. And furthermore, also it can do a couple of driver analysis. And last but not least, the consolidation part itself. And within the consolidation part, you have different capabilities like intercompany matching and reconciliations, intercompany eliminations, and also legal consolidations. So I will just quickly show you one important PowerPoint slide. And I'm not a big fan of PowerPoint slides, but I actually think this is quite helpful to you guys as well. because it actually shows the business process flows and every single capability of the solution itself. And the reason I'm showing you this is because I think it's quite important to point a couple of these ones out. So for instance, we see over there on the left side of your screen, we see the what if scenario modeling. I will just quickly point out during the demonstration how you could use this functionality. Furthermore, we also see the rolling forecast again, and I'm quite also proud to say that it, for instance, can do multi-GAAP and is capable of IFRS and the legal part as well. So you might also recognize some other terms, and they're all capabilities of BPC itself. So let me introduce the situation, the story where I will be demonstrating the solution itself. So I actually have my own company, and my own company is called Food Distribution. I spend a lot of time on creating this name, but it's quite catchy, I'm sure of that. And what it does, well, yeah, it distributes food. It distributes food all over the world, so it's a global company with a lot of different subsidiaries all over the world. So I'm also involved with different currencies, different legislation, also different areas of the world. And recently I went on a buying spree, and I thought we don't have any Italian subsidiary yet, so let's buy one. And during the demonstration, I will show you some of the steps that my financial analyst has to successfully co-op with to actually implement the data of this Italian company to our global financial situation itself. And therefore I hired, well, Matt Damon. He actually showed me during the Will Hunting movie, Good Will Hunting, that I thought he was a math magician. Well, it turned out he just was an actor. But then again, I just hired him and let's see how he's doing. And well, this is how he currently looks like. He's quite older than in the movie itself. So this is my financial analyst. And what I will be showing today, so get ready, I will quickly show you the dashboard because there might be a couple of people over here who have never seen the solution itself. I will also show you quickly some consolidation, so how to also add the different information from the Italian company in our systems and how to use them. We will, well, Matt Damon will review some of the data, and Matt Damon will also adjust some of the forecasts that the Italian company has made. Well, so let me quickly change to our demo environment itself. So as you can see, well, let me just also present myself again, and this time a little bit smaller. But as you can see over here, it's just a normal desktop like everyone would have. And well, you can see Matt Damon, he's quite proud of himself, so he has himself on the desktop. Not sure what to think of that, but well, Matt Damon, he wants to do a couple of things with the recently bought financial statements of the Italian company. So he opens up his favorite share, because BPC is of course one of his favorites, and he will open up BPC Microsoft over here. Well, it's quite easy, it just has to log in into the system, and we do this quite easily with just a login name and a password. So as you already see, it quickly opens the BPC dashboard itself. And what you see over here is just a quick overview of the current performance of my company, Food Distribution. And what I would like to mention is that every single user is able to customize this dashboard. So for instance, I can come up with that a manager would like to have a different dashboard than for instance an accountant. And as you can see, you can already play with the different areas you see in the screen, but it's important to understand. Well, let me quickly change to the environment where I would like Matt Damon to be in. So we are connecting to a different one. I just wanted to mention that you can have actual different dashboards over here. But now we will go to Matt Damon's dashboard over here. You can actually see that Italy has already put it in. And what we're going to do is we're going to follow some processes that Matt Damon has to follow. So I quickly click on the processes over here. and I would like to open a new process. And I would like to open the process of Italy itself. So I already prefigured some data over here. I only have to change this one into corporate. So now it's going to show me all the financial information, the financial statement of the company. And what you need to understand is that we currently are in October 2015. So I only have information until the actuals of September 2015, and from there we have some forecast. So as you can see, it immediately pops up a flow chart, actually our how do you say business process workflow over here. And what it actually does, it's quite useful because it actually shows me which single step I have to perform to complete to actually complete the consolidation part, the reviewing of the data, and also adjusting forecasts of the data. So as Matt Damon, well, it turned out to be an actor, so he's not that smart, but he immediately understands what to do first in this situation. So we already have seen the dashboard, so I will quickly continue to the ownership manager. And what you can do in the ownership manager is adjusting all the different subsidiaries that we already have. And as you can see, there are a couple of different ones within Europe itself, but Italy has not been added yet. So this is quite easy. We want to add the financial statement of Italy itself. So we just click on the add button over here on the top left, and we use the search function and type in Italy. Well, even Matt Damon could do this. This is really easy. I click on OK, and you immediately see that Italy has been added to the left as a subsidiary and also in the table itself. And as you can see, the table asks me to put in how much percentage of the current consolidation we want to have and also how much percent of ownership we have. Well, it was quite a straightforward acquisition over here. So let's just assume that it's both 100. But what it shows you is that it can also co-op with more difficult and more complex financial situations or more complex ownership situation, because it's quite easy to just change the numbers of the ownership within this table itself. Well done. We have completed the first stage, and I would like to save the data. So now our financial statement of Italy is also in the system. And now it says that it has been done, so I head back to the previously view, to the business process overview, the workflow. And as you can see on the right, well, I remind myself that we have completed the ownership manager task, and now we're gonna open the income statement itself. So I click on income statement, and as you can see, it opens up an Excel sheet by itself. So what I would like to mention over here is that all Microsoft applications are fully integrated with the BPC solution. So what this means is not only that I can quickly switch from Excel to the web interface itself, but it's only co-oping with Microsoft Word or Microsoft PowerPoint or all different applications of Microsoft itself. So, well, it quickly opens two sheets over here, and I would like to use the activity one. So what we're going to do right now, what Matt is going to do is want to fill in the financial statement of Italy. As you can see, it's now empty, so he clicks on upload data over here on the right. Well, and it's actually quite straightforward. It's just like adding any different file to my Excel file as well. So I browse into my computer. I click here on the Excel file that is already preset for me, data upload. Click on next. And I will do the same over here to import data. Open. Oh, double click. It works as well. So it asks me a couple of questions, and it asks me, well, do you want to actually merge the data values? Well, I would like to do that, yes. Do you want to run default logic? Well, let's don't do that one. And check the work status. Well, I'm not gonna do that either. And that are all the steps that I need to do to actually add the data in this Excel file. Well, it also asks me if I want to run it immediately or I might want to schedule it, for instance, to the 1st of September or the 1st of October, but let's run it directly. So now it immediately shows me that the request to run the package was successful. Well, it turns out that Matt Damon doesn't want to wait quite long. So what he wants to do is wants to check if it was successful and how long it will take him. So he goes to Data Manager over here on top of our screen and we check View Status. And when we see View Status, we can see that at the moment the importing of the data is actually running. So he wants to refresh the status every 5 seconds to actually see when it has been successful. So he doesn't have to wait, let's say he doesn't have to refresh it every single second. Well, and it actually took maybe 5 or 10 seconds to upload and import the information. So now you can see that the status has been changed to successful indeed. So we can close this one, and at the moment we do not yet see the information that has been uploaded. What we have to consider is we still have to reload the sheet. So I'm gonna refresh it over here. It's quite pretty straightforward as well. And now it's actually in my spreadsheet over here. And at the moment it's also important to understand that once it is loaded into my file, I can also use it to report it, to use the reporting tools as well. So I think we're quite done over here. I will actually don't save it this one. Well, if you're in a real-time company, I might suggest you want to save it, but never mind this time. So I go back to the web interface again, and I want to check if I've done everything right. So we have seen the dashboard over here. We also added Italy to our ownership manager. The income statement was opened, and also I uploaded the data over there. So last thing I have to do is check the work status, and I want to do this to make sure to change the work status from unlocked to submitted. So the manager also has the ability to actually approve what I have done. So now the work status has changed to submitted. I click on OK, and I think we're done for the consolidation part. So what I do at last, I actually click on complete to enable myself to get to the second step of our overview over here. And now you also see that it says to me that I have completed all consolidation parts. And for instance, it's also quite helpful for if I want to go home now and I head back tomorrow, I instantly see where I headed off yesterday. So what we're gonna do right now, well, Matt Damon, he added the financial statements over there, and now he wants to review the data that has been uploaded. So what he's gonna do, he's gonna open the profit and loss report over here, which actually does the same. It immediately opens a new Excel file over here. And this time it shows me the income statement of the Italian company itself. So Matt Damon, he might not be a financial expert, but he does understand over here, where I have put my mouse, that an arrow down in red with minus 26% is not a good number over there. And so what does it say? It says that the actuals are actually 26% below our target. Well, what Matt Damon wants to do over here, he kind of figures out he doesn't have all the data he wants in this report right now, because he wants to know, well, it can happen that we don't meet our target this year, or Italy doesn't meet their target over here, but he also wants to understand, well, what did they actually forecast over here? So do we have to be actually worried? So what he's gonna do is gonna right click on target over here, because he wants to add the current forecast on this spreadsheet in this area. So right click on target, I will do it again and show you EPM to insert a new member. And we are gonna insert a new category over here. So I will select members. And as you could have seen, target was already in our financial statement. So I will delete that one. And I'm gonna look for forecast over here. And as you see, you can choose current forecast, but you can also use different versions to see what will happen if we forecast this or we forecast something else. So I actually use this time the current forecast. And to make sure that I don't do anything wrong, I really have to remember that I need to add it as a member over here. So now I understand that it's actually will be added to the file. Well, then it still asks me, what do you want? I want it to be copied to the add selected cell, and also want to use the insert method to be sure that it does not replace the target information over here. So let me see how quickly that goes. Well, and there is all the information I need regarding also the forecast itself. Well, there was, and what Matt Damon immediately sees over here is that luckily they didn't forecast quite as to the target, but still there is a loss, or there is a gap of almost 9% over there. So he's still quite concerned, and he wants to make sure that everyone who opens this file after him, or he wants to show it to his manager and the manager opens it, he wants to make sure that he leaves a comment. So we're gonna leave a comment over here on the actuals of the sales revenue of the company. And how we do that? Well, we go on top of our screen again to the EPM, and this time we use comments over here, and then we will add a comment. Well, and as he is quite concerned, he can choose the priority over here, so he chooses high this time, and he's actually asking, are the Italians not hungry? As remember, we are distributing food over here. You can also add a keyword to be able to quick search different comments, but we're not gonna do that this time. And I wanted to add it to the active cell, so now I'm gonna save it. Well, that actually tells me right away that the adding of the comment has been successful. But what I also want to know, because at the moment you don't see it right away. So what Matt has to do again, he needs to refresh the data. And as you will see, it now has been added a comment over here on the right where the comments are shown. So we're sure that everybody sees the same thing as he does. Well, quite smart of Matt. So I think I'm quite done over here, and what I've actually shown you during this part is that you can easily add different categories in your income statement, for instance, or in your report itself. It doesn't take a lot of time, and it also immediately shows you the variances between, for instance, your budget, the forecast, and also your targets over there. It's quite easy to use. Well, let me close this one again. I'm not gonna save it again because I don't mind. So we go to the workflow planner again, and we see that we already done the P&L report, we opened it, and we also loaded the forecast data in the report itself. So I figure we are quite done here as well. So we go to the complete part. And last but not least, we want to add adjust forecast data over here. So we open up a new set forecast. Let it just quickly load. Well, there are my sales revenue forecast over here. And again, actuals till September, forecast from October. And as he sees immediately that sales has been dropping in Q3 as a total sum of 4.1. And when he looks at Q2, it was actually 4.8. So he wants to know a little bit more about it. And I will quickly show you how he makes an ad hoc report while using just the click and drop method over here. So I use report layout. I'm gonna do it a little bit faster over here. Put products over here. He wants to know the difference between Q2 and Q3. You see that it immediately adds up the numbers over here. So give me a little bit more information about the different product groups, but he also wants to know the variances. So he's gonna quickly make his own formula over here. Let's see, it's C2 minus B2. And we're gonna divide it. Well, divide it where it is. Let's problem if you have a Spanish keyboard. Come on, where is it? Let me try a different way. So there it is. Then use B2 again. So I'm sorry for that inconvenience. Let me quickly present myself again. So now we also see the variances itself. Present myself again, please. So now we quickly see the variances over here. But he also wants to know, he sees that product A group is the problem, and now we opens up the file and see that product 3 is the problem over there. So he wants to quickly add a couple of things again. He wants to know it from month to month. So he clicks over here on B2, B1 and C1, opens up EPN to expand his ad hoc report, clicks on expand, and now you see it month to month. And he basically also knows that I'm quite a visual guy, so he wants to make sure that I see it in a formula, in a column. And it actually shows you that you are still able to use all the different capabilities of Excel as well. So now we quickly made up a chart if you didn't have the problem to divide the formula over there. I want to show you a lot more because I haven't showed you everything yet, but regarding the time I have to head back to our PowerPoint presentation. So what I've shown you today, I've shown you the dashboard, I've shown you quickly how to consolidate and how to add the financial report, the financial statement of the Italian company. I also showed you how you can review data and add single categories to different reports, and also quickly showed you how to make an ad hoc report. And unfortunately we didn't have time to show you how to adjust the forecast, but definitely I will make up time for that next time. So let's head back to the numbers over here, because the numbers, they represent a couple KPIs which we benchmarked against customers who use BPC already. And what it actually shows us is that the accuracy will increase with 12%, which is quite important because the more confidence you have in your financial statements, in your financial reports, the better you can act on it. Furthermore, the budgeting cost overall decreased with 36% because the systems were quite more faster, and it allowed them to easily use the right steps considering the workflow planner as I showed you before. And also one that really convinced me was that the accounting cost decreased with 51%, which is well, a really big number over there. But what I want to tell you is that, well, BPC can actually enable the financial department to spend more time on actually analyzing the financial information than the transactional work itself. And therefore, also Matt Damon, he was not a real professional, but he was quite happy how to use BPC instead. So I want to actually tell you one more thing. So if you have to remember one more thing, I would like you to understand that this solution will enable your financial department to actually create value to the business. So there won't be the guys that just have to add up the numbers by the end of the year, but they actually spend time analyzing data and also come up with different gaps or different approaches of analyzing this data. So if you actually want to win a crazy cup over there, like the Stanley Cup, which is probably the biggest one I've ever seen, well, then you certainly have to make sure that you get in contact with us. And you can do it with this information. If you have left a question in the comments on WebEx, I will make sure that I will address you after the WebEx, the webinar itself, because we're quite over time. I'm sorry for that, but hopefully you enjoyed our demonstration and we'll get in contact soon. So thank you for watching this webinar and see you soon.